In this video, we're going to talk about how tax can be used to mitigate climate change. Firstly, we need to know what tax is. Tax is money that individuals and companies, businesses, pay to the government. Here's our government. So people pay tax to the government, and the government uses that tax to pay for public services, like schools, hospitals, and a load of other things like bin collection, roads, police, the military. All of that is paid for by tax. The government controls the amount of tax that people and businesses pay. In most countries, we produce our energy by burning fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are made up of dead organisms that over time have died, and they've sunk to the bottom of oceans. Here are dead organisms in a layer at the bottom of the ocean. As those layers build up, the organisms become compressed, they become squished. And, depending on the conditions, they either turn into sedimentary rock or they turn into fossil fuels. There are three fossil fuels: coal, oil, and gas. Because fossil fuels used to be dead organisms, they contain all the energy of those organisms, which means that they can be burned to produce electricity. When fossil fuels are burned, they release carbon dioxide. Why does that happen? Well, let's take an organism like, let's not do a fish, let's do a tree. When a tree is living, tell your screen what gas a tree takes in from the atmosphere. Well, trees absorb carbon dioxide, and they use that carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. So when a tree dies, all that carbon dioxide is stored in the tree as carbon. Fossil fuels are made up from organisms like trees. So let's take a piece of coal. If we burn coal, we are releasing the carbon stored in the coal into the atmosphere. The carbon combines with the oxygen to create carbon dioxide. So burning fossil fuels releases carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Here is a drawing of a coal-powered power station that produces electricity that is used in people's homes and businesses, like offices and factories. In the UK, most of our energy is produced by burning gas. In newly emerging economies like China, most of their electricity is produced by burning coal. Whether it is a coal power station or a gas power station, it's going to release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas that causes the Earth's temperature to increase, creating climate change. To make sure that people and businesses don't have to pay a lot of money for their energy, power stations, gas and coal, don't pay very much tax to the government. This means that the energy in homes and businesses is very cheap. In contrast, other ways of producing electricity have to pay more tax to the government. This means that the energy that they produce is more expensive. Let's think about ways of producing energy that don't produce CO2. Well, we can make energy from the sun, using solar panels to produce electricity, and we can create energy from the wind by using wind turbines to create electricity. We could create energy from rivers by using hydropower to create electricity. And all this electricity could be used in homes and businesses, just like energy from fossil fuels is used. What is the advantages of using renewable energy instead of fossil fuels to create electricity? Well, these forms of renewable energy don't produce carbon dioxide, which means that they don't contribute to climate change. But at the moment, these forms of energy have to pay more tax to the government, which means they're more expensive. Whereas fossil fuels, when they're used to produce energy, they pay less tax to the government, which means that they're cheaper. If you're a home or a business buying energy, which energy are you going to buy? Energy from fossil fuels or energy from renewable energy? Tell your screen. Well, like most people, you probably said that you buy energy from fossil fuels because it's cheaper. So one of the ways that governments can mitigate climate change, they can reduce the amount of greenhouse gases that they're producing, is by increasing the amount of tax on energy from fossil fuels, and by decreasing the amount of tax on energy from renewable sources like solar, wind and hydropower. That would make renewable sources cheaper and energy made from fossil fuels like coal and gas more expensive. Therefore, if there was less tax on renewable energy, more people would use renewable energy and less people would use energy from fossil fuels.